Welcome to another episode of HCP Visits. Here is your host, Woody Watts.
This is Woody Watts with another episode from Hill City Paranormal. I have actually been from Central Utah Paranormal today with me to talk about some paranormal experiences. Ben, thank you so much for being on our podcast. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing really good. Thank you for having me on it.
Man, again, I've referenced this, before on the podcast, just how great and what a tool Instagram can be, because that's kind of where I found your group and found you and reached out to you. But man, what a community where we can kind of get on, talk experiences, and then connect like this. So I really appreciate you being on.
Well, thank you. I feel the same way. It's amazing how big our paranormal community really is, and it's really just a big family.
It is, and I think the important thing that I'm seeing is there's really no competition. It's all community, and that's what I love about it. It's like, for example, this podcast. It's like, hey, will you be on and talk about your experiences, and we exchange stories and just get them out there, and people are so willing to share their experiences, which makes it great. So I think the more people cross promote and help each other, the better.
I agree.
All right, Ben. So tell me a little bit about Central Utah Paranormal, and honestly, where it all began for you.
So for us, it's me right now and just my partner. My partner's name's Randy. I started by myself, so I didn't really have a name to begin with, but I started a few years ago just doing things here and there with the little equipment I had. When I started, I had an EMF reader, my recorder, and luckily I already owned a camera. But I always liked going to all these just different places. I went to a lot of, I guess you could call them undisclosed locations when I started. A lot of places that I couldn't really talk about. They still let me keep my evidence and things like that I'd find, but I could never really share about those. And that was one thing that really bothered me. I'm like, there's so much I can show people, but I can't. And so I ended up meeting my partner, Randy, and we just started talking, and hey, why don't we make this real? Why don't we do this? And let's get shirts. Let's make this as official as we can. And over the couple years I did it by myself, I had gotten my own equipment, some extra things, and now I had a partner who would also purchase things, and we kind of worked together. My equipment was his equipment and vice versa. So we started doing mostly historic sites here around where I live. I live in Millard County in Utah, and so we just kind of went on these little adventures to mud forts, Eureka, Topaz, and we've gotten tons of evidence and just great little bits of information as we've gone through.
I found for our group that we're kind of in the same boat. We had kind of tagged along with each other and done these adventures, and we were really more into exploration, I would say, with investigations. But as soon as you put a logo on your shirt, it kind of changes it, doesn't it? It puts
it does.
It makes it a team, and we that instantly, once we did that, that really helped us get organized, to be honest with you too. Now, tell me about, all right, so did you have any paranormal experiences as a child or growing up that led you to get into this field?
I've had a lot, just growing up even. Trying to think back to some of my earlier ones, but really the best ones that I can think of were just as I got older, I guess. When you're a kid, you recognize that there's something there, or there's something off, or you might, the feeling, the hairs raising up on the back of your neck, the unexplainable goosebumps that just show up out of nowhere for no reason. But one of the better ones, I guess I should say, my wife and I went on anniversary trip to the Queen Mary. And I had gone the year before with some college friends. We were headed out for a little class, and I told my wife, I was like, I think it's super skeptical. Like, I never had anything happen, and all the stories that people were like, oh, I had this happen, I had this happen. I was like, yeah, I brushed them off. I was like, whatever. And so it was my year to decide what we were doing for our anniversary, and we went and stayed on the Queen Mary. And earlier that day, we had purchased one of the, I don't know if you've ever been to the Queen Mary, but they have books about all the different like spirits that haunt it and different things that have happened there. And we were going through it, and they also put the room numbers on where the things happened. And we were a couple rooms away from one of them. And we were kind of joking about, this experience, like, holy cow, like, this is crazy that this happened. Like, why would you do something like that? I think it was like the father had basically taken the life of his whole family and then killed himself in this room. And that night, it's probably about 2 a.m, I'm awoken to my wife just saying my name, but it's like faint. Like, you could tell she was having a hard time speaking. It was like, Ben. And I woke up and turned over, and she took this big breath of air, like she couldn't breathe. And I was like, what's wrong, dear? What's wrong? And she's like, something was just holding me down on the bed. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is crazy. And of course, I go turn on the lights, and I make sure she's okay and look around. I was like, there was no one in the room. It was just us. And so I go in the bathroom, and I turn on the light, and I felt this really weird feeling on my chest. And I look at it, and I had 2 scratches that go just right across my chest down to like my sternum.
Oh, I've got chills.
And it was the weirdest feeling. Like, so I've never had that. I've never had it again since. But I chose not to tell her about that because I didn't want to scare her more until after we had left a few days later. But when it started to heal, it was like, have you ever burned yourself on like the stove, or like even on like, if you ever roasted marshmallows over a fire with one of those steel posts?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And burn the tip, and it leaves that, it's like a scald, and it peeled like that. It peeled like a burn, and it healed like a burn. It didn't heal like a scratch or a cut. And that was the one thing that really shot me back into the paranormal, to get back into it, look more into things.
Now, what was her reaction? What was her reaction? Like, you said you did not tell her there because again, I completely understand that you didn't want to add even more of an intense air to the environment. But what was her reaction after she did find out? Did you ever show her the actual scars?
Oh, yeah, I actually took pictures of them. Like, I took pictures of them the day, and I wish I would have taken pictures of them, like, thinking back now of the healing process, because like, it's so crazy to explain that to somebody and be like, yeah, and they're gone now. I have no scars. I have nothing to show for it now. Just that initial day. And I guess continuing with that, when, like, after I turned the lights on and I found this, so I go put my shirt on, and I asked my wife, I was like, well, what did it feel like? She's like, well, I thought you had gotten out of bed. She said she felt something crawl onto the bed, and it held her down. And the more we thought about it the next day, we really think that it was the 2 little girls from that family that came to her as the woman for protection. And when I woke up, they saw me as the threat, the man, the dad, and scratched me and disappeared. But that's just what we think. We can't prove that by any means.
Oh, that is so intense. And that is, I get asked a lot, and tell me if you get this question. about energy, or I believe it's the stone tape theory, where an event may have happened in a room, and even if you don't necessarily believe in actual spirits, or where you can see them, you can feel the energy of what happened in the room. And it sounds like you all were very in tune with what could have, what happened there, and especially that, like, you were, where it could have been the kids coming back and seeking protection, and then you being the male, then there you go, you have a reaction.
Yeah, that's the only explanation I can think of.
Man, that's intense. Well, tell me about, so that was you said, and where was that location at? Because I'm going to actually jot that down. I want to make sure that's on our next road trip.
Okay, it's actually I believe it's in Long Beach, California, the Queen Mary. There's lots of investigations on it. Like, tons of people have gone there. But like I said, like, when I went, I was like, yeah, like, I don't feel gross. I don't feel weird when I went with just some friends the first time. But yeah, the second time, yeah. But yeah, Queen Mary, I believe it's the B floor, Bravo floor.
Okay.
Is the most haunted, and it's one side. So like, if you were on the ship looking down the rooms, it was Bravo floor on the right side. I just can't remember if it was east or west. But.
Okay. All right. I'm making notes right now. So tell me, tell me about your investigations now. Like, give me like an equipment list that is in your bag that are must-haves. What do you take with every investigation?
So mostly, one thing that me and Randy have both learned about each other is we are more focused on the communication. What can we learn? What can we get? What can this spirit or this entity that's in this area tell us? So most of our equipment is focused on communication. So we have a couple SB11s, an S box. People have their favorite ways to use them. I still try to keep it random each time, like different sweep rates, and with the SB11 use 2 AM settings or AM and FM. I just always try and keep it random, because I feel like that's when you get the best results, is when it's not planned, it's random. EMF readers. Randy has a really awesome one. I can't remember the brand or the exact name, but it's an EMF reader, but it reads like all frequencies, and it's on like a big, almost like a PDA, like an old school PDA, and it gives you all the readings for the area on each individual spectrum, you could say. But I really like using, I call it archaic communication. Some people laugh at that, but I like using like dowsing rods and pendulums, and use those to ask questions, and use the equipment to verify.
Now, see, the rods,
or vice versa.
I will have to give you, the dowsing rods. My father, he uses those, and I used to laugh at him all the time. He would use them to find water. He would use it. He's a gold prospector. He would go out and use them to find. He would always pull out these two rods. I was like, "What are you doing?" And then it's like, the older I get now, I was like, they actually, you cannot discredit them, because they did work for him. So absolutely, I can see where they would pull in energy, or any type of odd frequency, I guess.
So have you ever used the rods for communication, just for yes or no questions?
No, I have not. No.
So it is when you really have something, it is the oddest feeling in the world. Like, it's, at least for me, and I can only define it in two different ways. So you're either going to get something good that you're speaking to, or something bad, obviously. And when it's something good, like, that just really, maybe it's a loved one, maybe it's someone that just wants to talk to somebody. The craziest thing I ever had, it was like the whole room was warm. We all got warm, and you'd think, oh, cold, cold spirit. And no, it was warm. It was like someone just turned up the heater, which is weird, but we all had a good feeling. And when I was using the rods to ask the questions, between like your knuckle and like the first bend on your fingers where you're holding them, you feel almost like a pull, like not like a shock, but like, it's not you doing it. It's something else that's doing it for you. But on the other hand, I've also had the ones where it's not necessarily a good feeling. And I feel like the bad ones, the bad spirits or entities, work off of your fear or your sorrow, maybe, where the good one, I felt like it was pulling from like your joy, your virtues, like the good things that you had inside of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my main stuff. I mean, we focus on communication. We have one night vision camera. We have standard camera for indoor, outdoor investigations, but we really like to focus on the communication.
So tell me, on an investigation. So, well, let me back up a little bit. Are you mainly in, personal investigations? Do people call you up and say, hey, I've got a place that, some stuff's happening. Can you take a look? Or you had mentioned historical sites. Are you finding that people that are running like the local museums or library are having experiences and you're coming in and either confirming or debunking that? Like, which one are you finding in your community that you are investigating more?
Right now, we're really trying to get into actual like historic buildings, where we've been in the past just more or less searching. We were trying to find, like, is there activity here? Like, we went out to, there's a mud fort. I have a video of it on our YouTube. It's outside of a little town called Deseret in Millard County. And it was built in about 1860 by a group of like 55 men. It was during one of the Native American Indian wars. I just can't remember which one. And so we just went out there, just curious. Are we going to get anything? There's no videos, there's no proof of anything out here, but let's just go see. And sure enough, we get into a SB11 session, and whatever was there didn't want to talk to me. It didn't want to talk to me at all, but it liked my partner. And I can't remember what he says exactly. He says something like, we're here to see you, like we're friends. We're not here to hurt you. And clear as day, no static, no noise, a woman's voice says, really? And then Randy says, yes, really. We're just here to speak with you. And it says, you're here. And it was just awesome.
Oh, yeah. Don't you love those moments though, that when you're in the environment, or you're in, the investigation, and you just have those like real moments that you wish you can, just convey it to everyone out there. So you're like, hey, listen, this is for real. I'm not making this up. But when it hits you, it's like, oh, wow. It just completely, everything else just kind of shuts out.
Yeah, completely.
Oh,
and like we've been, when you were asking earlier, like we have been trying to get into some more buildings. We've had a few people ask us to come to businesses. Only one, we've done one so far, but we mostly just have some people asking us to come to their homes or things like that. But those are set for in the future. We haven't had them yet.
Sure. I'm having a hard time, and I guess this is from just a paranormal group, perspective. I'm having a hard time getting historical places to allow investigations now. And I think it's, I know there's several reasons, but I think one of the big ones that I keep hearing is that if we do find something, they want to, review it and not control, but know what gets out there, because it could hurt business. And which is, it's flattering, but it's also, I kind of just want to go explore the place, but they're scared for us too,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's like, one thing I've noticed is people know it's there, but I'm trying to think of how best way to word this. They know it's there, but either they don't want to learn more about it, thinking it's going to cause more things to happen or more unexplainable things, or the publicity will be bad for them, but good for people like us that would want to go check it out.
Exactly. Yeah, I love the historic sites just because they have a vibe or energy on their own, and we love cool old buildings. And so I'm that's not that surprising that you see kind of the same thing in Utah.
Yeah, and like one thing I did, like I don't know if this would work where you live, but where I live, so I live in the largest county with the smallest, largest landmass with the smallest population. So we have all of this room, and there's only like 12,000 of us that live in the whole county. And so all these little small towns that have these different places, I've learned you call the mayor, you ask them if there's anything or any places you can go. And so far, every mayor that we've contacted has been like, yeah, just let me know when you're coming. I'll let you know who to call. I'll get you the person's phone number. They can talk to you and see if they're comfortable with it. And that's worked so far.
That's a great idea. I think I'm going to have to start doing that. I'm gonna give the mayor a call and just give me a good checklist of places that we can go explore mainly, right?
Yeah, because then they know, and if they know, the authorities know. So you're not going to get a surprise when you're there.
Well,
and if you do get a surprise, you have the proof to say you can be there.
Exactly. And that never hurts, having a piece of paper or knowing someone, because I can't tell you the times that we've had a camera. We always try to clear it. You're right. You want to do it the right way because you don't want people to be watching the video later on and like, how did they get in that building? Nobody's allowed in there, so safety first. Don't break too many laws.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me a few more of your investigations. Like, if somebody wants you to investigate, what's your typical way? Like, how do you vet it? Because, I know for us, we have gotten quite a few requests, and then we try to, we love talking to everybody about their experiences. But how was your process? And tell me a little bit more about some of the investigations that you've gone on.
So my process, I should say, kind of changes between me and Randy. So I like to talk to the people first, of course. What kind of stories can they tell you? What's going on? Are you hearing voices? Are things moving? Are there any bad smells? Just kind of all the who, what, where, when, why, and how kind of questions. Really try and narrow it down if they'll let you go through the home. Look for anything you can that could possibly help debunk anything, bad wires, bad connectors, really anything like that. And after you've done that, you've gotten your first interview in, set your time to go there. And depending on where it is, like I said earlier, we really focus on the communication aspect. And then just go and, like, for Randy, he is amazing at getting EVPs. Like, he can get one anywhere. Doesn't matter, time of day, location, I swear. Anywhere we go, he can just, hi, my name's Randy, and I'm here to visit with you. And he'll just start getting voices every single time.
He's the ghost whisperer.
And he is. It's kind of, like, awesome and, like, terrible all at the same time. And I'm like, what do you do that I don't do? Like, he has that about him. But, so... Randy's more focused on trying to get the EVPs. That's something I've been practicing at recently too, trying to get better at to see if, certain ways of speaking are better,
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because we recently went on a trip and we went to a no Bigfoot location, right? So here I am dragging my wife to this state park and this awesome museum down in North Carolina. And we're out in the middle of
I watched that video.
Did you watch the video? Well, the funny part was that, all right, so years ago, this is a side story, but years ago, my wife and I, she's a huge shark person. Okay. She loves sharks. Like she can tell you every breed type, whatever type of shark there is that exists. She's just amazing at it. And so we go to the beach, and one of her things is she's always wanted to see a shark tooth. She's always wanted to find one on the beach. Okay. So we're on the beach laying, in a lounge chair. This is years ago. And I, at the time I wore glasses. So I didn't even have that good of vision. And we had been talking about shark teeth for, a couple months. And then I'm laying in the chair and all of a sudden I look down and I find a shark tooth. And she is flipping out because I was the one that found the shark tooth. And then so fast forward a couple years to today, to the Bigfoot thing. I'm out in the middle of the woods. I've got my Bigfoot vest on. I got the camera. I'm ready to go. And lo and behold, who finds the Bigfoot footprint? It's her. So it's always the person it's just like I can't explain it, but I'm glad she found it because I can trust her. And I know she's truthful. So it's just amazing how it works.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so tell me a little bit about, and this is again from a more of a paranormal group point of view, and what I have found. What do others say when it comes out like, we are in a paranormal group, we do investigations. What's your typical reaction you get from family and friends?
I think at first from my family, they were so typical, like Utah, oh, you're going to bring home demons and people are going to try and like kill you in your sleep. And, like, no, that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm inviting. I
don't particularly want to do
that. Not what I'm trying to do.
No.
And so like when you can use that as a teaching thing, like then they get more interested. But if you get the ones that are just like, oh, nope, bringing demons into your house. Don't even talk to me. I'll bring them into mine. But, so no, like my friends think it's pretty awesome. Most of my family's pretty on board with it and think it's pretty cool. But the people that are uncomfortable with it, like I already know that they are, so I don't bring it up around them. Yeah. Yeah. I respect that. If they don't want that in their life or in their conversation, I respect that.
Sure.
But no, the ones that do, like, they just want to go with you. They want to learn. They want to do it, like learn your process and figure it out for themselves. And it's usually pretty positive. I'd say it's 80% positive here and 20% like just either really skeptical or they believe that you're just going to cause harm to yourself.
That's pretty accurate. That's a good ratio to say. Now you bring up a good point. Do you open up, like, do you have an open invitation to allow people to come on investigations with you, or do you like to do them with, your partner, or do you allow a group?
So I haven't ever had a group with me yet. But I do, like, we had I can't talk about the place where we were, but, we invited, the person that contacted us was related to the owner, and she just wanted to come. She's like, I want to go so bad. And I was like, that's fine. Like, these are the things we're going to do. These are things you're comfortable with. And yeah, please, come with us. But I've never brought anyone that's really, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the nicest way to say this, but we have some people that I think they just want to go and they'd be rude.
Yeah.
In the areas that we are. And, I try and respect the places that we are and the things that we're doing. And so I try to keep that negative energy as far away from our investigations as I can. So if they're a positive energy and they want to learn more, they just want to check it out and be there for the experience, then I welcome that.
I am on the same page with you on that. You have to respect, not only respect the process and people's beliefs, but you need to respect the actual location too. Because we forget, like, this is an actual, some of them are landmarks, that we don't want to mess up. We don't want people to know we've been there. We just want to document.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you, you said you saw our Bigfoot video. So
yes,
I have always been into Bigfoot and aliens, and even paranormal even came later for me than those things. What are your beliefs on Bigfoot and UFOs?
Okay. I've never had a Bigfoot experience. But it's not that I don't believe in it. I remember we had a guy in my English class when I was going to college. I went to Utah Valley University for a couple of years, and we had this English class, and we had to do a research project. And this kid in the class was like, "Oh, totally gonna do mine on Bigfoot," and we all laughed. And sure enough, like he comes like 3 weeks later and gives his presentation, and he is complete. Like he's like, "These are all the locations. This is like where they were found. These are like footprints." And he had all of us. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is real."
That's awesome.
So like I've never been able to go out and explore that side of, I don't know if you want to use the word cryptids or, but so I don't know how much I can really say on that, but I think everyone has a UFO experience.
Yeah.
I don't know have you?
Yes, absolutely. That's kind of what got me started. Like, I mean, I was into like sci-fi movies and mysteries and Twilight Zone and all, Tales from the Crypt, all that stuff early on. But when I was 14, I actually saw a UFO. And so that is what really started my interest. And then it has always stuck with me because, and not only just the actual experience, but it was the fact that you always fought against someone not really believing you. And for me to actually see it and then being on the other side and try to tell people, it's like, no, I really did see it. So I've always tried to bring that with me to when I interview someone or talk to someone, is that you've got to have that open mind, because I myself have had an experience. So I know the feeling to be on the other side of it.
So for me, though, with UFOs, I am intrigued completely by UFOs. So when I don't know how old I was in fourth grade. What are you? Maybe 10 in fourth grade?
Yeah.
But growing up here, we had, in third and fourth grade, you had to do what was called your Great Brain Project for the year. And that was how you got moved up to basically the next grade. And when I was in fourth grade, I did mine on UFOs and UFO sightings, and I drew all the different UFOs that had been cited, like of all the books that there was probably like 5 in our local library. And so I drew all of them, where they were, what they looked like what to look for. But when I was about 24, maybe, me and one of my friends are doing some security for a company outside of town in the desert. And so they're filming during the day, and we're watching over the equipment at night just to make sure it doesn't get stolen. And sure enough, one night, it had to be at least 2:30, 3 in the morning, and me and my buddy are sitting in his truck, just eating some snacks and talking, and he looks over to the side of this. So we're in the middle of like 3 volcanoes. It's like a beautiful place to go. I will gladly take you there if you ever come to Miller County.
I will take you up on that.
but so we're out there, and he looks over and he's like, "Dude, are you seeing this?" And I couldn't see it because it was like, if I was by his window, I could see it. So I get out of the car and look up over the small volcano, and sure enough, there is this and it's the typical, it's the same one you always hear all the time. It's circular. It's got what looks like 3 engines on the bottom, almost like the back of a jet, but like facing the ground. And it's high up there, but there's 3 different colors on it, and it was like pulsing between these colors, and it was like, I want to say like green, red, and kind of like a yellow. And then the next thing we knew, it was gone. But we watched it for 20 minutes maybe, and then it was gone. But that's the only one I've ever experienced. But sometimes I wish it was different, like wasn't circular, it wasn't, looked different, but it was. Yeah,
it's amazing. I didn't know this until, I think we were talking a few weeks ago, my wife and I, and she herself had a UFO experience, and it's like, wait a minute, what? So like you start to talk to people, and they really, it's not something you really bring up at a dinner table unless you've got one person who's really into aliens and UFOs and Bigfoot, like myself. But then all of a sudden you hear these stories come out. Oh, you have one too, and it's almost like it's like, oh yeah, it's just like seeing a dog or a cat now. It's like, wow, okay, all right, time to release the evidence, government. So time to let it loose because pretty much everybody knows, in my opinion, that they do exist.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
So tell me about, like, what are your future projects coming up, like your investigations that you have in the works, and what is one place you would really like to investigate, like that's on your bucket list of investigations?
So, okay, I'll start at the beginning of those questions. I got really excited for the last one. Okay, so first, we have one home coming up, but the guy is currently sick, and so we're just waiting for him to call us back. But he said him and his family keep seeing basically a shadow figure of a cowboy in their home, and it, like, cowboy hat, spurs, like the whole works, and then it dissipates. But that's all they know. Like, they haven't had voices, they haven't had anything move, and so I'm really excited for that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so far as planned, we've been working on, or I should say we were working on before winter creeped up on us. We were doing a video series out of Eureka, and so we were working with their mayor and the private owners of the separate buildings to go into them and check them out, see if we can find some activity there. I was able to go out there a couple weeks ago after a snowstorm and did a EVP session at one of their cemeteries, and I got a full sentence 2 times in a row. I have that on my Instagram too, but it goes, I think I said, did you live here in the 1800s? And then it's a very airy, wispy voice says, yes, I did. Mm-hmm. But I didn't hear that when I asked the question. So I always wait for 5, 7, 10 seconds and ask another question. And I asked, did you live out here with your family? And again, yes, I did. 2 times in a row. I was like, okay, that's awesome. But I didn't know that until I was able to go through my recorders. And yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're sitting there going through hours and hours of evidence, and all of a sudden you hear something. It's like, oh, gosh.
Yeah, and it makes all of the, other 5 hours you just spent completely worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, we're planning on finishing up a video series outside of Eureka and just some other places that we've been invited to go to. But my dream investigation, after my Queen Mary experience with me and my wife, I would really just love to go and just spend a week and just go through that place. Like, get the permission, even pay for the extra for the tour guide or whatever, and just really go through that place. Because, there's tons of videos, there's tons of different things on YouTube to watch, but sometimes I feel like some of those are just so doctored. I want the raw footage. I want to have the experience. I want to feel whatever it is that I can feel,
Yeah. I think that is such a good way of putting it because, and I hate to keep bringing it up, just like our Bigfoot experience, there is only so much you can show in a video or pictures or talk about. It's like, you really got to feel it. You've got to be there. There's no accurate way to describe it, show it. It just doesn't do it justice. And I am completely with you on that. You need to be in that zone. Well, Ben, man, this has been awesome. I really appreciate you coming on, and tell everyone where they can find you, contact you, and see your videos.
Okay. On Instagram, you can find us on central.utah.paranormal. You'll know it's us. It's our emblem with a little ghost next to it on the side. Our Twitter is c.u.paranormal. And our YouTube is also just Central Utah Paranormal. And all of them are linked with the same logo, as well as our Facebook.
That's awesome. Ben, if we're ever in Utah, I want to hit you up, and I want to go on an investigation with you, okay?
I would greatly appreciate that, Woody.
All right, man. Thank you again. And, man, let's talk soon. Let's catch up after you do some more investigations.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right, sounds good, Ben. Thank you.
Until next time. sure to check out our website at hillcityparanormal.com. And thank you for listening.